This is Saturday Morning Mysteries.
And we're your hosts, Alexis and Grace.
Hello, good morning, and welcome back to another episode of Saturday Morning Mysteries, where we're your host. I'm Grace.
And I'm Alexis.
And we are continuing our holiday season arc. This is currently the best holiday of the year, potentially. I mean, at least for us, of our Thanksgiving, November, fall, autumn vibe arc.
Yeah.
Yes, as you probably have known. Yes, an all-encompassing vibe.
You get
Words are hard. We're recording in the afternoon / at night, which is not usually when we record. So
bear with us.
Buckle up, everyone. And today, Alexis will be telling us. I didn't look at the tracker, so I don't know what Thanksgiving story
you never look at the tracker.
Yeah, it's because when we say, okay, we got to fill stuff in the tracker, I go and fill it in right when we hop off, so I can pick what episodes I want first, and then I don't relook at it until next time, I guess.
I love it. Yeah, I'm down for the surprise.
A Thanksgiving surprise.
Grace is I'm just gonna log on and see what happens. One of these days, I'm gonna go off the rails, and you're not gonna know. You're gonna not be expecting it whatsoever. I'm just gonna throw you for a massive loop and surprise. Oh, we're doing Thanksgiving? Just kidding. This is a Valentine's Day episode.
Right. The whole time I'll be like, wait. Are they eating turkey?
Is there anything? Are there leaves falling? Anything at all? Oh, Cupid. No. Okay, I'm sure she'll get there eventually.
Wait,
maybe.
If I would have looked at the tracker, I would have known. It says courage the cowardly dog.
And you could have stopped me before my descent into madness.
Yeah. But I would have known.
Which would be an interesting episode, by the way.
I bet there's one. There's got to be. Mm-hmm. But anyways,
along those lines,
we're doing something today, so I'll let you just do that something.
Yeah, we'll see. Lots of surprises, lots of changes going on here.
Oh, yes.
All these
those on
things.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Yes. You'll notice an entirely different background because Alexis just moved. So
no, it's just because I changed my background screen.
It's just been fake this whole time.
Yeah, I don't actually read all those books.
Yeah. What a customized bookshelf that old background must have been for all the comics that you had and stuff.
Yeah, right. It's made in an AI lab.
Yeah, I mean, that probably is an option.
Perhaps.
Yes.
Perhaps. But anyways. So I will just say to that, and new apartment here, so bear with us. There may be some new noises that you hear. I live right by a bevy of railroad tracks, believe it or not.
Ooh.
So maybe we'll hear some trains going by. Maybe we'll hear some ambulances and all the beautiful city noises of Washington, D.C. now that you did not get when I lived in Maryland. Well. Deal with it. There's only so much I can do to edit it out of the audio. It's basically just going to be, it's like your dogs now. I'm going to have ambulances and trains. You're going to have dogs. So, and Justin.
Also, again, I don't know what even show you're doing. It could add to the ambiance of the show.
Maybe. True.
Is the show in the middle of a city? I don't know.
I was going to say, actually, that's the perfect segue for me to get started here because, today's episode, we're right in the middle of the city.
Oh, okay.
Doing one of my favorite cartoons growing up. It's something that I covered last holiday season, not for Thanksgiving, but for Halloween. The amazing Nickelodeon classic show, Hey Arnold.
Oh, shit. There's a Thanksgiving special.
There is. They actually, so I realized they have a special for literally every holiday besides Arbor Day and Memorial Day. There's even a Veterans Day episode I found out, which maybe I'll do that next Thanksgiving
November,
season / it's actually in 2 days per our recording of this. And my brother's birthday, by the way. Baby. Boom. So double whammy, double holiday for my family at least.
Okay, cool. Also, then, adding to the ambiance, the city noises.
The city,
we're here.
Exactly. We're here. We're in it. Picture yourself in this, unnamed, perhaps West Coast or East Coast town. But yes,
Hey, only two options. Yes, it's a town. You said one half the country or the other.
Yeah, or Midwest or South. I don't know. Maybe they're in Miami.
You can just divide it into East and West.
Yeah, this Eastern half or Western half town. of America.
Yes,
It's in one of
perfect.
those halves. But
Yeah, we don't know.
yes. So this episode, it is from the show Hey Arnold, and it is aptly called Arnold's Thanksgiving. And it came out November 18th, 1998, which actually, I just realized this episode is airing on November 18th.
Oh
So I didn't
shit.
even plan that.
No,
So
yes, we
this
did.
is the,
We
yeah, we
planned
did.
it.
Sorry. We did plan for this to be a 25-year anniversary
episode.
celebration of this episode airing on on Nickelodeon back when we were kids. Did that on purpose. You heard it here. Ignore what I just said before.
That was
We
a fake.
plan things
That
ahead.
was a Thanksgiving prank we just pulled. We planned it.
We're good at it. Yeah, we're good at it. So yeah, Hey Arnold, for those who missed the episode I did last Halloween about it, or for those who for whatever reason have never watched this show, like I said, came out in Nickelodeon in like 1995, I believe. And it really is just the show about this kid named Arnold. He's a fourth grader living in a boarding house with his grandparents, Grandpa Phil, Grandma Pookie, and a group of just eclectic, ethnic, very interesting boarders that live there with him. And the show really just circles around him trying to help the lives of his family, his friends, his neighbors, many of his friends at his school in town. You know, you got Gerald and Helga, who all named just because they're like the two other main characters. Arnold kind of is like the soul and the heart of his house and of his school and of his community, where he's really always just like offering up his time and his fourth grader wisdom to help the other people around him get through the struggles that they go through on a daily basis. So it really is like a very heartwarming and honestly, like it's a super classic show. It was very eye-opening because the characters are very diverse. You learn so many life lessons on how to just be a good, not shitty person, especially as a fourth grader. But it's cool because he's got this little fourth grader going around and like teaching full-grown adults and like grandparents and old people like life lessons and how to like be better at being human. So yeah, very interesting.
I'm not gonna lie.
Great
when
show.
You said you were doing it like right when you said Hey Arnold Thanksgiving special, I was like, oh, am I gonna cry?
You might. And, you know, it's funny, like, there are some episodes of Hey Arnold that really are very emotional and sad because of the life lessons. One of them is his Christmas episode. Every year, I'm like, you know, maybe I'll do Arnold's Christmas for our holiday arc this year. No, I'll never do it. As much as I love it, I will never do it because it's just such a sad. Yeah. Watch me turn around and do it this year anyway. No, I think I said that last year, but yeah.
Is it Hey Arnold that also the cast of all the actual kids were actual fourth graders?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if they were fourth graders, but they were legit kids. Yeah, they were like 12 or 13.
Very special also.
And rare. Yeah, you don't get that a lot for kid shows. Yeah, which I think also that's such a good point. It added to the authenticity of it.
Yeah.
I think. And
like, this is how like 12-year-olds actually speak because they're 12-year-olds who are reading the script.
Exactly.
Not adults acting like they're 12-year-olds.
Writers take note. Okay, got it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's such a good point. And like the cast is as diverse, I think, as like the actual characters are. Like, pretty sure, I'm not 100% positive, but I think most of the characters were voiced by people who like match the races and ethnicities of the people they voice, which is awesome. So we love it. It's a great show. It's on Paramount Plus for those who want to watch it. There's also a season on Hulu, the first season, I think, but all the other episodes are also on Paramount Plus. So if you haven't watched it, I highly recommend. It's a classic. I loved it. My brothers loved it growing up. And yes, they had amazing holiday specials, like the one we're about to get into today for Thanksgiving. So, and by the way, Hey Arnold, there's like very few episodes that have anything to do with like true crime or crime. There's a few in there.
Caveat.
Yeah, it typically doesn't have anything to do with the Saturday Morning Mysteries theme, but I love the show and it's Thanksgiving themed and it's a classic animated show, so we're doing it.
No rules, baby.
No rules, exactly. We are the rules. We make them. We break them.
We break them. That's what we do.
If you don't like it, sorry, keep listening, please. Don't go away.
I was
subscribe,
like, what are you going to say?
comment.
What are you about to say, Bird?
Tell all your friends and family. So, this episode, it begins with our main character, Arnold. He's riding his bike fiercely through the city. This is like a San Francisco-esque type of vibe city. It's like San Francisco meets New York, and he's riding it over this bridge that goes over a bay near the city. And while he's crossing over this bridge on his bike, he stops and pulls to the side. There's like a sidewalk there, kind of. And he watches below on the water the city mayor christening and sending off what is called the Mayflower 2, aka this like
okay.
Oh,
here we go.
This Mayflower will meet a fate not similar to, but parallel to at least what the folks on the original Mayflower met when they landed in America.
Okay.
So this boat, it's like a replica / like city landmark and historic site that the town uses in their annual Thanksgiving festivities. And he looks on, kind of staring down at this Mayflower 2 in awe and amazement, clearly dreaming about the true meaning of Thanksgiving and looking forward to the holiday. And from the way that he's like gazing at this, we can only assume that, like us, Grace, Thanksgiving is Arnold's favorite holiday, or at least
we loved him.
We know exactly, or at least conceptually, it's his favorite holiday.
Okay.
So he looks at his clock, realizes that he's running late to get to school, so he books it back on his bike and keeps on riding in, because we see that his fourth grade class, also likely something that you and I have experienced, is putting on a play / like recital type of thing for Thanksgiving, cute, where they're reenacting the Pilgrim's Landing at Plymouth Rock. And, all this, it gets dark, all the struggles and dealing with the climate and meeting and dealing with Native Americans. And then, the recital then kind of like proceeds into a more modern look at Thanksgiving, where we see a group of students pretending to be this perfect family gathered around the Thanksgiving table, discussing polite family matters and saying nothing but kind words to each other before giving thanks for one another and carving up the turkey. And so while all of this is going on the play on stage, behind the stage, Arnold tells his best friend Gerald about his families, aka his grandparents and all of the eclectic characters that live in the board house. He's telling Gerald about their wacky Thanksgiving traditions, wherein Grandma Pookie always, and his grandparents are very, very old. I think the math in one episode puts it, they're pretty old. It puts them at like 86 years old or something like that. So Grandma Pookie, unfortunately, always confuses Thanksgiving holiday with the 4th of July.
Oh, no.
So, and she kind of, what she says in the house goes. So they always have to like barbecue on the roof of the boarding house, even though it's cold as fuck.
Yep.
And obviously everyone wants turkey, but instead they're having like burgers and ribs and hot dogs.
It's like, I don't know, it's an American holiday.
Yeah, it's something like that. It's like something about old time Americans, like, I don't know, getting some sort of freedom, doing shit. Yeah. And they all like dress up in outfits of like Revolutionary War heroes and the founding fathers, and they light fireworks.
Kind of sounds fun.
Honestly, some of it does. And I am going to now propose that we all light fireworks on Thanksgiving, as long as it's not like humid and stuff. Like, it's actually a good holiday to do it because it's not very hot.
It's a lot better than July.
Yeah, when it's hot and humid and muggy. Yeah, exactly. So Grandma Pookie, not totally wrong here. Not totally wrong. And the food is still good on 4th of July. So like, just like switch it out for Thanksgiving food, add the fireworks, and like, yeah, sure, if you want to dress up as Ben Franklin, like, okay, do it. Yeah. like you told us a couple weeks ago, didn't he want the turkey to be the national bird?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It's all coming full circle.
Yes, it all comes back to Benjamin Franklin.
Always. Thank you with your, what was he, a Puritan? No, he was a Quaker, whatever. Anyway, so meanwhile, while Arnold is telling his best friend Gerald about this, we also have Helga, Arnold's like frenemy / fellow 4th grader, telling her best friend Phoebe about her family's horrible traditions on Thanksgiving.
Oh no, it's about
Yeah.
to get dark.
It's about to get dark, unfortunately. And yeah, Helga's plot of the story is like likely where we're going to like shed some tears because as I mentioned when I covered this show last Halloween, Helga, she's like this really mean character, honestly. She's really a bully. She's always teasing Arnold and other people in her grades. She teases Arnold mostly because she actually like is in love with him and she masks those emotions, but it's really because she comes from a very abusive household. Like her parents do not pay any attention to her. Her mom's an alcoholic. Her dad is a small business owner who just is always working. And they're both like totally obsessed with her older sister, like perfect, like essentially Ivy League school attending older sister, Olga. She's like beautiful model, like Harvard essentially student.
Yeah.
So Helga is totally just like dismissed everywhere and like never loved or cared for. Anyway, so Helga's going on and telling Phoebe about her family's horrible tendency to just always, as per usual, ignore her on the holiday and put all of their focus on the perfect, pretty, and intelligent Olga, her older sister. So Mr. Simmons, meanwhile, who is their fourth grade teacher and the director of the play, he, once the play ends, he brings all the students backstage and thanks them for the hard work that they put into the play that he, like I said, directed and wrote. And he wishes the kids a happy holiday and a nice little vacation while the kids like essentially stomp over him, stampede over him to get the fuck out of there. Bye, deuces, turkey weekend. Let's go.
Let's do this, baby.
So on his way back home, Arnold, he passes by stores with beautiful Thanksgiving displays in the window, like this beautifully set table with all the, the turkey, a fake turkey probably, and all this fake food, but it looks amazing. And it's beautifully set with candles, napkins, and everything. And he's just looking at this table through the window, longingly wishing that he could experience that feeling of a traditional Thanksgiving. And then the next morning, or I guess a couple mornings later, on Thanksgiving morning, Helga wakes up. We're at Helga's now, the Pataki's house. She wakes up and she goes down to the kitchen to wish her family a happy holiday and has in her hands a homemade pine cone table centerpiece that she wants to put on the Thanksgiving table. But her mom, who I mentioned before, is pretty much an alcoholic to the extent that a cartoon for kids could like explain someone was an alcoholic without like blatantly saying they're an alcoholic. She's practically like drunk or super hungover in the kitchen, making just an absolute mess as she tries to prepare food while her dad is just sitting in his recliner watching football and like yelling about how it smells burnt in the house.
Oh my God.
All of this.
The crime of this episode is like child neglect and abuse.
Yeah.
This is a crime episode.
You're right. And that reminds me. So it's been a while since I first wrote this, but when I did write it, that was kind of the angle I was taking, like a story about child neglect. And as we'll see later, the time that a poor little girl ran away from home on a holiday. So we'll see.
I mean, immediately I was like, this is the crime in the episode.
Yes.
One of the rare times we actually touch on true crime.
It's
going to be in Hey Arnold.
It's child neglect and abuse, unfortunately. And like the most heartwarming, like wholesome show that we cover too, probably. Yes, exactly. Awkward. So yeah, Helga, she like tries wishing her parents a happy holiday, but they're just like ignoring her, like, yeah, whatever. But she still like is trying to show her parents this little pine cone turkey centerpiece that she made, like, hey, Mom, Dad, can we like put this on the table this year as a centerpiece? And her mom, again, drunk in the kitchen, trying to manage all these overflowing pots and pans of food. She's like, yeah, sure. Just put it over there by Olga's centerpiece.
Oh God.
We then pan over and we look at Olga's centerpiece. And it is this beautifully, perfectly sculpted, like turkey made of ice.
Oh my God, I was about to jokingly say an ice sculpture.
It is an ice sculpture of a turkey like sitting on a pilgrim hat, like beautiful, like glistening, perfectly trimmed and everything. And Helga just like rolls her eyes and like scoffs, like, like obviously how the fuck is my little half-witted pine cone turkey thing
like googly eyes and shit.
Yeah.
Next to an ice
Literally,
sculpture.
it's so sad. It's so sad. But just as Helga starts to like, scoff and roll her eyes at this, Olga, the older sister,
Mhm.
she bursts into the kitchen like a ray of sunshine, carrying these large bags of fresh groceries, wishing everyone a happy Thanksgiving, and saying, like, okay, I need all hands on deck. We're going to help prepare the Thanksgiving dinner. And Miriam, again, drunk and confused, she's like pulling a turkey out of the oven and is like,
Oh
wait, but
God.
like, I thought I was cooking. What's going on? And Olga's like, no, don't worry, mommy. No need to worry. Like, you go and just, fold
Your food is
napkins for the
disgusting and covered
table.
in whiskey. I mean,
That would, depending on what it is, that wouldn't be too bad.
yeah,
It's covered in whiskey and it's burnt. So it's like,
yeah,
hey,
yeah. Yeah. Maybe covered
no.
in cheap vodka.
There we go. She's like, I got this. Like, no, your food got us all wasted last year because you mixed up water
I'm
with
sick.
vodka.
We all had food poisoning. No.
Literally, you don't know what you're doing. No. So Olga,
You
she
forgot
calls
to turn
her.
the oven on. The turkey was just raw.
It's literally raw, and there was stuffing in it. Like, we all went to the hospital, but you were too drunk to remember.
Oh my God. Also, we are only making fun of all of this because it's so sad. And this is how we deal
Yes,
with the horrible
we cope.
things is by making fun of
Exactly.
all of it.
We cope through laughter.
Yes,
Sorry.
exactly.
So yeah, Olga, she calls in her dad. She's like, Dad, come in here. You're gonna help like chop up mushrooms and onions. And Helga, I need you to like start peeling potatoes. But as she's telling everyone what to do and pestering them with all these chores, Helga is getting increasingly frustrated and starts to just like curse the holiday and the fact that no one ever wants to do what she wants to do.
Mm.
But eventually, dinner is ready, and the Pataki family, they gather around the table to eat, and they all go around and say what they're thankful for,
Oh
like,
no.
somewhat. So Bob, the dad, he tells Olga to go first, and she says that she's thankful for this beautiful 7-course dinner that she handmade as a gift herself to the
I'm
family.
thankful for myself.
For what I did. I'm so thankful for
This
what
is
I
the,
did and what I created
the
for
clip
you.
of Snoop Dogg accepting an award and saying, but most of all, I'd like to thank me.
Me.
Yeah, just what she's doing right now.
Literally. This is Olga. Olga is Snoop Dogg. And so then the dad, Bob, goes and he says, much like Olga, that he's thankful for the beeper. His small business that he owns is a beeper store, but it's like a very popular one. Beepers, clearly a
LOL.
90s show. Yeah. Although, yeah, Mr. Pataki's out of business now.
Yeah, I
That's
was
for
gonna
sure.
say, oh, you think
Or
the
he sells like
alcoholism hasn't gotten
iPhones.
worse? Hopefully he
Yeah.
transitioned. AT&T bought him
Yeah.
out.
Right. He took that money. But anyway, so he says that he's thankful for the beeper empire that he built from the ground up and that was able to put the spread on the table. Yeah, empire.
Okay.
And then he calls over to Miriam, the mom, who again is like asleep at the table, drunk / hungover. He's like, Miriam, wake up and say what you're thankful for. And she just like drunkenly, like, huh, but me, huh? She like puts her glasses on and just like says she's thankful for the first thing she sees on the table, which of course is the massive, beautiful centerpiece that Olga made, the ice sculpture.
Great.
So at that point, after Miriam goes, Bob's like, all right, that's everyone. Let's eat. Clearly forgetting about Helga.
Oh my God.
But Olga, the older sister, as much as we hate Olga for just being like so perfect and like
this
beautiful,
is probably how Olga's had to survive this abusive family.
Yeah,
by like making
literally
herself great so she doesn't get the brunt of her parents.
Yes, Helga needs to learn a thing from her. But as much as we hate her, Olga does actually really love her little sister and is like always very, very nice. And it's because she's so nice that we hate her, if that makes sense, right? Like,
yes,
you're too nice. I don't trust you. That kind of vibe.
Is this a pity niceness or is it because you actually love your sister?
Yeah. So in this case, it might be a little bit of pity because she like stops her dad from carving into the turkey and she's like, no, Dad, like Helga hasn't given thanks yet. Like, come on, like, don't be that
You have
terrible of a
another
parent,
daughter.
Dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, Dad.
Bob's like, oh shit, that's right. Yeah, like we do have another daughter.
Oh
So he like passes the mic to Helga and is like, all right, hurry up because I'm hungry. Like, what are you thankful
oh my
for?
God.
And Helga, the little savage that she is,
Oh
she
no.
just
She's
crosses
so
her
pissed.
arms and is like, I'm not thankful for anything. Nothing.
Oh
Absolutely
shit.
nothing. And the whole family like gasp, like drops their wine
Yeah.
glasses, like you hear the clattering on the table, like
Part of the ice sculpture
what? Which
falls
like,
off.
can you blame her? Yeah, lands on Miriam. She drunkenly wakes up again. Oh shit, what?
Huh? Oh,
No.
drink for ice for my drink.
And yeah, exactly. More whiskey.
Yeah.
And so yeah, this like pisses her parents off actually, because they keep pressing her, like, come on, no, you need to be thankful for something. Like we do this every year. You have to be, certainly. And she just refuses to answer, like, nope, I'm not thankful for anything. Nothing.
Damn.
And so her dad's like, well, then you can just go to your room for the rest of the day then and come back down and get some food when you find something to be thankful about.
Damn.
So Helga, she shoves away from the table and leaves the dining room. But instead of going up to her room, she grabs her coat and just leaves the house. Like,
Yeah.
you know what? I'll be better off on my own this year. I'm just gonna like go for a walk around town. I don't know. Maybe I'll just be in my thoughts for a minute because fuck this family, right?
Yeah.
And so the random homeless person on the corner is way more bearable than Bob and Miriam and Olga right now. So I'm gonna go hang out with them.
Yeah. Bye.
So deuces. So as she's walking through town, she wonders to herself what Arnold, who I mentioned before, she's like actually in love with
Obsessed
him.
with.
She's always thinking about him. She like keeps a picture of
In
him
her
in a
pocket.
heart-shaped frame, like in her coat pocket. So
Yeah.
he always like pulls it out and is just like, huh, I wonder what Arnold's up
Arnold.
to right now, like what he's doing for Thanksgiving. I imagine that he's surrounded by his loving grandparents and those wonderful eclectic boarders that live with him. And they're probably just enjoying this beautiful warm turkey dinner with all the fixins. But over at Sunset Arms,
Cut to.
aka the boarding house slash Arnold's house, cut to exactly, that is so far from reality. We see Grandpa Phil, Arnold, and a few of the boarders in the kitchen planning for dinner. This is, earlier in the day.
Mhm.
Arnold's grandma Pookie, she bursts into the kitchen, dressed, of course, as like George Washington or some like Revolutionary War soldier,
Good.
which like singing like 3 cheers for the red, white, and blue or something like that, and
God, I
wishes
love
everyone a
Grandma
happy
Pookie.
4th of July. I love her. She's amazing. But like, this would kind of ruin the Thanksgiving holiday for me personally. But like, do
Yeah.
you,
Thanksgiving
Pookie? Do
is
you?
sacred.
It is, as we've discussed in the past.
Mhm.
And so Grandpa Phil, though, he's like encouraging this, like, yeah, happy 4th of July, Pookie. Like, you look great today. Love the outfit. We're loving it. We're planning out the barbecue right now. And Arnold just like sadly is looking down into his bowl of cereal, wishing that this year's Thanksgiving holiday could be different.
Mhm.
So, Grandpa, meanwhile, he's reading through the instructions for the day. Like, all right, so and so, like Mr. Nguyen, you're in charge of grilling the hot dogs. Ernie, so and so, like all these boarders, you're in charge of the decorations. Me and Arnold are gonna make red, white, blue desserts, and Grandma, you're gonna put together the firework display. Like everyone got it, and break. And so Arnold comes up to Granddad after he goes through the list. And he's like, couldn't we kind of like mix it up a bit this year and like make turkey and stuffing and cranberries and like pumpkin pie instead of like hot dogs and stuff? And one of the boarders overhears him and is like, are you crazy? They don't get to eat that kind of food until it's 4th of July when your grandma thinks it's Christmas. Which hilarious, but also sad because like Grandma Pookie is clearly suffering from like early stages of dementia.
Yes.
I think.
Exactly.
So like very, very sad. None of us want to see our loved ones going through this, but like she's still fun about it, I guess. And she
I
does
like
still
to
have good
think
memories. She's just like very wacky and kooky.
I like
Yeah.
to think that she is actually just like especially her generation, like I had to spend the last 86 years fucking like being subservient to the patriarchy. I'm gonna give it back to them and be like,
Do what I
fuck it,
want.
now
I'm
it's
in
this
charge of this
holiday.
place.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Valentine's Day.
that tracks.
No, Cinco de Mayo.
That tracks. Yeah.
What the fuck you can do about
Memorial Day? No. Halloween.
Yeah. Just like she's just constantly like purposely like doing a power play on everyone of just like, yeah, I'm some
that
crazy
low
old
key
lady.
tracks with her.
Yeah.
Yeah, that not even low key, that high key tracks with Grandma
Yes.
Pookie and
She had a
like
whole
how
secret
she
fucking
acts in
life.
other random episodes. That
Yes.
she does. She does. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Like I wish we could cover this show because actually, well, it'd be too hard to pick out episodes for true crime purposes, but there are episodes where legitimately you see Grandma Pookie living like a double life where like I'm pretty sure she was a secret agent at some point
exactly.
or like in the military, like a mercenary. Anyway,
yes, that's why she's like,
so she's like, yeah, I do what I want. Fuck it.
Yeah. Try and stop me. You can't.
AKA, I'll kill you if you do.
Yeah. I've killed and I'll kill again.
So,
what?
I'll kill again. Yeah. She doesn't even say the what. She's like, I'll do it. You heard me.
She gets the fireworks
like, says it
out
loud and clear. Yeah.
Grandma Pookie, what?
What you gonna do? So all of the boarders, they agree to their list of tasks or their list of tasks and their to-dos for the day to prep for dinner for the barbecue. They put on their founding father / like Yankee and Uncle Sam costumes.
Amazing.
And they head up to the roof to start grilling. And Arnold, as he's getting his costume on, he's dressing, by the way, as Ben Franklin. We love Arnold. Another reason we love him. Is this like a Ben Franklin appreciation podcast all of a sudden? Know. Or at least just like
maybe.
It could be. Tune in next week to find out if we bring him up somehow, like 3 weeks in a row.
Probably.
We'll see. Like, I don't know what episode you're doing next week, but I don't know. Anyway,
we'll find a way
Arnold,
to shoot him in.
We'll find a way. I will, if nothing else. So yeah. Arnold, one last chance. He's begging his granddad to just make this at least a slightly more normal and traditional Thanksgiving. But Grandpa's like, yeah, but like we could, but what fun would that be? You know, this is what we love doing. And they like look around on the roof and, you know, fireworks are being set up and these beautiful 4th of July decorations are going up and there's just all this chaos and whatnot of like barbecue being set up in the middle of like the late fall. And so Arnold, he then goes back to his room to finish getting on his costume. And then the doorbell rings and he goes down in costume to answer it. And it happens to be one of his classmates, Harold, who is he's not the smartest tool in the shed. He's like 4 years held back and is also kind of a bully in their class, but he's like kind of a bigger, heavy set kid. And he asks Arnold, or he asks the person that answers the door,
oh my God, he doesn't realize it's Arnold.
He doesn't realize it's Arnold because he's in a costume. So he's like, hi, ma'am, can I borrow some marshmallows? My mom wanted me to come get some from you guys because I ate all of ours.
Oh my God. Classic Harold, yes.
And then Arnold's like, Harold, it's me. And Harold's like, oh my God, Arnold, that's you. And he bursts out laughing, making fun of Arnold for his silly costume that has nothing to do with Thanksgiving. And he like runs down the street yelling and laughing and jeering, telling everyone that Arnold and his family are so weird for dressing up like that on the holiday. And so this like kind of embarrasses Arnold. And he's like, you know what? Fuck this. He rips off his bald cap, his Ben Franklin cap, throws off his like Ben Franklin jacket, puts his regular coat back on, and he too leaves the house. He's like, I'm done. I'm not doing this. I don't want to, pretend that I'm signing the Declaration of Independence today.
Again.
I want fucking turkey. Again, we do this every year. I just want turkey. But like Helga did, he decides to just leave and be with himself and his thoughts on the holiday. And so, as he's walking through town, he runs into none other than Helga Pataki, who is shocked to see him because, again, she thought that he would be having this perfect, wonderful holiday, but he too is just like super sad. And they share stories with each other about how crazy their families are and how their holiday is always ruined by the antics that their families are always getting into. So they decide to just spend the day together and go for a walk, taking in the sights around town.
This is a
And
Valentine's Day episode.
I told
For
you.
Helga.
Yeah, right. For like sweetest day, whatever.
Yeah.
Any holiday involving love.
Yeah.
So the two of them, they go for a walk and they head to the docks. And Arnold says that they need to be optimistic because, like I said, this kid is just full of wisdom and he's always trying to look on the brighter side of life. And Helga's like, what in the world is there to be optimistic about? We're two fourth graders, like walking around town by ourselves because our families are so crazy that we can't bear that spending the holiday with them. And Arnold's like, okay, that's a good point. But like, look, the Mayflower too is sailing by. Look how beautiful it is. And so just as it sails by them, the ship straight up crashes into a bridge.
Look, things are looking up.
Bert crashes. And this shit, like Titanic style, just like splits in half and just capsizes, and the entire crew is like panicking on board. And we immediately see like the Coast Guard like move in on boats and like helicopters coming and like fishing people out of water, putting like the blankets over them. They're like traumatized.
Like hypothermia. Yeah. And Helga's like, so what was good? Again?
Exactly. That's exactly what she said. She's like, and you were saying? It's so funny when you
Sirens
watch it.
are going off.
Helicopters flying over, like Coast Guard officers like yelling into megaphones, like, remain calm, we're here to save you.
News cameras are like shoving microphones in like Helga and Arnold's face, like, what did you see happen? We have witnesses right here.
The witnesses have like trauma in their eyes and they're like shaking under the like big blankets, like, I don't want to talk yet. I'm not ready to talk yet.
Helga's like, what you were saying.
Yes, this is so beautiful. The sign from above, right?
Or this is the most ominous sign for the future.
Yeah, literally. And I mean, it is kind of appropriate given the way that the rest of their afternoon or evening is about to go.
Oh, no.
So the two of them, they stick around the docks for a minute to like continue chatting and I guess like watch these rescue efforts go down. Yeah. They're like, I mean, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity and we've got front row seats.
Yeah. Like Macy's Day Parade, never heard of it.
Never heard of it.
This is
way more thrilling. Yeah. So Arnold, meanwhile, while we see people panicking in the water and being rescued, Arnold turns around to Helga and is like, you know, Helga, I keep thinking about Mr. Simmons's Thanksgiving play and how perfect of a depiction of the modern holiday dinner, you know, and the family was. And Helga's like, oh yeah, that thing, what a crock of shit. She doesn't say of shit, but she does say what a crock.
Oh yeah.
So she may as well have
a siren cut out her saying shit. Yeah.
What a crock of yeah. Literally, the show, it was it had a lot of adult references going on in it. But Helga, after calling it a crock, is like, Arnold, dude, that was just a play, it wasn't real life. This, like pointing at the Coast Guard ships, this is real life.
Like a police officer is calling someone's next of kin because they couldn't say one of the people. Like this horrible fucked up scene.
Yeah. That play, no, that's not how things go in the real world. No, the Mayflower 2 crashing into the bridge and people not making it out alive.
That's fucking real life.
That's reality. But Arnold, he leans in and tells her, like, look, if anyone could be having a perfect Thanksgiving, though, it would be Mr. Simmons. He's such a nice guy. He's so welcoming. He's got to have, like, the best family ever. So he grabs Helga by the arm and says, come on, we're going to go visit Mr. Simmons. We're going to his house for Thanksgiving.
Never meet your heroes.
No. Put a pin in that.
It's a violation of Mr. Simmons' personal time.
Yes, I was going to say, any of our teacher watchers, like, drop in the comments and or let us know How would you feel if your students knocked on your door on Thanksgiving Day?
Yeah.
On one hand, it's because they're having a horrible holiday.
Right. And you're safe.
And like
for
they
them.
clearly love, exactly, like that you're safe for them. They love you so much and like respect you that they would
like,
rather spend
call
it with
CPS.
you than your family. But exactly. Where are their parents? And also, no, like this is my house. Why do you know where I live? By the way,
like, how'd you get my address?
How'd you get my address?
Come in.
Yeah. No, like slam the door on their face.
We're getting like a
teacher
friends, listeners.
Right now, I have a social worker on the line right now. Actually, come in so that like we know where you are when the social worker gets here.
Yes, exactly.
So they go to his house. They come. They knock on the door. Or actually, before they knock on the door, they're kind of like peeking through his window, and they see what appears to be the perfect holiday.
What would you do if you saw?
How do you feel about that?
Peeking through your window, it's not even knocking on your door,
and like they don't. It's not like they duck when he sees them either. They just like look harder. Like, yes, we are here. They're like not even trying to hide about it.
Yeah, that's when calling CPS, like you call a different authority to be like, are these kids here to murder me? Is this the
I'm fearing for my life and the life of my
horror
loved
movie
ones
called Thanksgiving that's about to come out? Is this actually the plot of it?
Is this it? So they see this group of like lovely looking people taking a picture, gathered around the table, all smiling and happy, holding their wine up for the picture, and there's steaming hot food on the table. And so they like pull away from the window, and they're like convinced that this is the perfect Thanksgiving. So they're like, all right, dude, let's go in. Let's do it. Arnold and Helga agree, and they ring the doorbell so that they can join. And Mr. Simmons, he opens the door, and he's obviously surprised to see them because the fuck, it's Thanksgiving, as we've established. Where the fuck are your parents? How do you have my address? Why are you peeking in my window? Where are your parents? Please leave. Anyway,
inappropriate.
But as I said before, as Arnold described him, Mr. Simmons is like the nicest guy ever. So even if he is creeped out right now, he's not going to turn these students away because he's just so kind-hearted. So he lets the kids in after they explain why they're there and how terrible their families and their Thanksgiving is going. And he tells them like, oh my God, yes, of course, come in. Like you guys being here is going to make my holiday even more special. Again, he's too nice. He's too nice to be a teacher because you're setting a precedent here. Now kids are always going to show up at your door.
He is now like leaning over. He's like introducing them to his wife. And like, as he like hugs his wife, he's like, call protective services. Anyways, and this is my daughter. Also call protective services.
Honey, go to your room, lock the door.
Exactly.
So it's funny that you said wife and daughter, though, too, because there is some funny stuff about Mr. Simmons that the writers obviously try to like allude to in this show without being so obvious and like blatant about it. Because again, it's a children's show. It was the early 90s and stuff.
Does he have a husband instead?
I don't think he has a husband, but like, well, let me get to it.
Okay.
All of the guests in the dining room, when the kids walk in, they kind of glare at them, at Helga and Arnold, understandably, because they're like, the fuck are you guys? Yeah, what the fuck is going on? As Mr. Simmons introduces them all to each other, which, by the way, for guests, we've got Mr. Simmons's mother, Pearl, his friends, Peter and Joy, and his uncle, Chuck, which happen to be the exact same names of the characters from the school play that again Mr. Simmons wrote.
Funny. So, okay, interesting.
Yes. And Helga notices this. She like looks at Arnold like, those are the same names of the play characters. What the fuck? This is kind of weird.
They're like, we shouldn't have come here.
Yeah. Now they're the ones fearing for their lives. Yeah. They're like, oh my God, is this like a murder plot? Is this the plot of the horror movie Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Like luring kids into homes to murder them?
Yes, Hansel and Gretel Thanksgiving version.
Yeah, Mr. Simmons like tricked the kids into thinking like, oh yes, they'll think that my house is the fun one to come to that'll get them there and then we'll murder them.
Yeah, exactly.
So let me just say, even though these characters have the same names as his real life family and friends, they have nothing else in common with the family that was depicted in the play, because there is some deep shit going on here. Like they are bickering, arguing. when Arnold and Helga looked through the window and saw the perfect looking family, it
Just
was
for a
really just
photo.
because they were taking a picture. Exactly. They like stopped their yelling and screaming for 2 seconds just to take a photo. They just so happened to look right at
Whoa.
that moment. And they couldn't hear anything because they were outside, right?
Right. They could be like raising a
So
glass
you've
and being
got,
like, fuck you, Pearl.
fuck you, I hate you so much. Yes, like,
Joy,
oh
you're
my God.
trash. Clink. Smiles.
And so, what we've got going on here, conversation wise, that Arnold and Helga stumble into the middle of is Pearl, Mr. Simmons's mother, like scoffing and absconding at Peter, like, I didn't know Peter was going to be here today. To which
Oh.
Peter responds, oh, there's a lot you don't know, Pearl. Hold on. She then tells her son, Pearl, that, you should think about taking Joy to the ballet on Saturday. And Mr. Simmons is like, oh, I love the ballet. That's such a good idea. And Peter then like crosses his arms and loudly clears his throat while glaring at Mr. Simmons from across the table.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it would appear that Peter and Mr. Simmons are 100% dating, but his mom doesn't know and or doesn't approve and doesn't want to believe it. And Peter wants his mom to either know or approve, but Mr. Simmons does not want his mom to know or is just trying to be like, oh yeah, life is fine, everything's good, like we all love each other and get along. 100,000%. Never picked that up as a kid, but when I was watching it for writing this, I was like, oh, 100,000. Like they're absolutely together. Like Peter was so offended by Mr. Simmons being like, oh yeah, I would love to take Joy to the ballet. And clearly the line like, oh, there's a lot you don't know.
Yeah,
and
100%.
I mean, hate to be that person, but like Mr. Simmons and Peter both talk in a very specific way that like obviously
so the writers
like, yeah, like
get it, kids?
You get it, come on.
And we were like, no.
So, no, not at all. Our parents do, but we don't.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening.
Not a bit. Yeah. Mr. Simmons seems so nice. He's always so happy and friendly.
Yeah, exactly.
What? Yeah. So anyway, that drama is going on and they're all continuing to like talk over each other and everyone is clearly very unhappy and angry and they're all very rude to each other, yelling at each other, arguing and acting like none of the characters, as I said before, in Mr. Simmons's play. And so at the height of all of this drama, Arnold and Helga just kind of like excuse themselves and they're like, we're gonna go talk in the kitchen real quick. And they just like run into the kitchen and they're like, this is crazier than either of our families. What the fuck are we doing here? Like
we should not have come here.
You should not have come. We should have listened to the sign from the Mayflower too. This is just this day is just crashing into a bridge.
The omen was there and we ignored it.
We ignored it. We shouldn't have ignored it. But yeah, so they're going on, like saying how disrespectful the guests are being to Mr. Simmons after he spent this whole day putting together this beautiful meal for them, and how terrible it was for them to not want to go along with the tradition of just being kind to each other and like giving thanks and all of this, knowing how important it is to Mr. Simmons. And so at this moment, like the kids kind of have a realization that like, oh shit, we are literally doing the exact same thing to our families. Like we're refusing to give thanks for the things that we should be thankful for. We're refusing to like give in to the traditions that our families like to celebrate or, enjoy, even as crazy and like ridiculous as they may be. They do it because they love us, at least like from Arnold's perspective. And
yeah,
like,
I was like, what?
From Helga's perspective, it's more like, yeah, you're right. Like I should have said that I'm thankful for something, like whatever.
Yeah, so I could have eaten the food. They did get the food and make it.
Exactly. Like if nothing else, like Olga loves me as much as I hate her. I should have just given in and said something because like she worked hard for that, whatever.
Yeah.
And Arnold is of course like, yeah, like Grandma Pookie, she loves doing this and she takes so much good care of me. Like, damn, we're kind of being as terrible as Mr. Simmons's family is, but like in a different way.
Yeah.
So Mr. Simmons, he like kind of overhears this and like walks up to them in the kitchen and like low key apologizes for his family's behavior. And he's like, Arnold, you always have such a good ability, or like such a innate ability to like look on the bright side and like learn lessons from things.
Mm.
And even though this dinner is nothing like the perfect dinner that I wrote for the recital or like the play, my family, Mr. Simmons says, is really special to me, and I love them no matter what. So every year, even though I know it's going to be a disaster, this is my little project to get them all in a room, to get them together, and to give thanks for what they have. And he's like kind of like crying as he's saying this, because he's like super stressed and obviously sad about how it never works out.
He's
And
like,
he's like,
also, the cops are here because your parents put out a missing persons alert. You need to go with the officers now.
right now, I'm like partially sad from how stressed I am, and also like in tears of joy for knowing that you guys are going to get home safely now.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, yeah, he's like, despite my family's shortcomings and hatred for each other, I'll always be thankful for them. And on that note, the kids, they look at each other and they're like, all right, yeah, we should probably head back home then to partake in our respective family traditions. And like you, Mr. Simmons, be thankful for the families that we have despite their flaws. And so, speaking of a missing persons report, when Helga gets back home, her family is in a fucking panic. Like
Good.
they think Helga's run away. Her mom is on the phone telling the police dispatcher, like, I don't care if you have to send the entire fucking squad. They all need to be out there looking for my little girl. And
What ship
Bob, the
crashed? Get him
dad,
off of it. Get
I
off
don't,
this missing
I don't give a
person.
fuck about the Mayflower too. My daughter is missing. How many people died? Don't care. My daughter's missing. Like Bob, the dad, he's literally putting on like a military helmet and like fatigues and telling his wife, like, don't worry, Miriam, I'm taking out the Hummer onto the streets. I'm not coming back until I find Helga. And Olga's like crying, running down the stairs, like saying, I printed out a bunch of missing person flyers to hang around the town. Like, we can put them anywhere, but it's the only picture that I could find of Helga. And hilariously, it's like mostly a picture of Olga with like Helga like standing behind her.
The background.
Yeah.
Yikes.
But like, you can't say she didn't put some effort in.
That's true. She did what she could.
She did what she could. It's not her fault that Helga doesn't like having her picture taken, like, and that Olga's super photogenic. Like, what do you want her to do? She can't work miracles, okay?
She only has so much capacity, okay?
Exactly.
Harvard's hard.
It's hard. It's not like she brings a whole scrapbook home with her. This was just the only picture she had in her room, okay? Yes. So, and obviously Miriam and Bob have no pictures of Helga anywhere, so you got to work with what you got, okay? Yep. So as all of this chaos is erupting, Helga, she like walks through the front door and she's like, what the heck is going on here? And the family drops everything. Like Olga drops all the flyers. Miriam hangs up the phone and they all just run to her and hug her and pick her up and hug her and kiss her and rejoice that she's safe and that she's home, saying that they were so freaking worried about her. They felt so bad for treating her so terribly all day, and that they were so happy that she decided to come back home. And Helga's like, I'm fine. Like, thank you. And I'm really sorry too that I wasn't able to say that, what I'm thankful for, because in reality, I'm really thankful that I have all of you as my family. Aww. And Bob's like, well, I'm happy you're home and you're safe. And I'm thankful that you're our daughter and that you're always helping around the house. And
oh my God.
I'm not crying. You're crying.
I know. I'm like, what the fuck?
Damn it. Hey, Arnold.
Are you kidding me, hey, Arnold?
I know. Are you fucking kidding me? On Thanksgiving? Really?
Yeah.
You're gonna make me cry on Thanksgiving?
The meaning of Thanksgiving is the food.
Show.
Stop making it being beautifully grateful, even Stop in shitty
making
situations.
It about family.
Yeah.
I know. Stop it. So the family, they all make their way back to the table. And Miriam, she places Helga's pine cone centerpiece right in the middle of the table, like pushes Olga's off to the side. / it's not even there anymore. They're like, fuck this sculpture. Ice has nothing to do with Thanksgiving. Yeah, really, it probably just melted. There's like a big water spot in the middle of the table.
The pine cones in. Get a little soggy. But whatever, it's the thought that counts still.
Yeah, exactly. And so they then all sit down and enjoy their dinner together as a family.
Oh,
And Arnold, being the nice kid he is, he walked Helga back to her house. And so he stuck around to make sure that she got inside and, that everything was cool with her family. So he's like standing outside watching this all through the window. And he
oh,
sees them sit down to eat together and all loving on Helga. And he just kind of like smiles, nods, and then makes his way
God,
home to celebrate
Arnold.
the 4th of July with his grandparents. So when he gets back to the boarding house, he puts back on his Benjamin Franklin costume and he runs up to the roof to join the party. But when he gets up there, it looks like everyone has already turned in and gone back to their rooms and cleaned up
You
everything
missed
from
the
the
party, my
day.
dude.
He did. It's too late. But then Arnold, he turns over and looks, down a little further on the roof and he sees Grandpa like all wrapped up, honestly looking like someone from the Mayflower too, like wrapped up in a blanket, like shivering and sitting alone on the cold roof. And he tells Arnold, like, everything turned ugly after you left, Arnold. And once the group heard that you went out to look for Thanksgiving, they and he like rips the blanket off of him and like stands up. They decided to throw you a surprise party. And then like everyone
I was about to
pops
be
out of
like,
like hidden spots.
I was about to be
They
like, oh
kill
God, a bunch
themselves.
of like 80-year-olds are out in the street looking for Arnold
Oh yeah. Oh, no,
in the
or that
cold.
too. Yeah.
Wait, oh my God,
It
cute.
got crazy. Yeah. And so everyone like pops out of these hidden spaces on the roof and like they're waving their arms in the air. And all the tenants are like screaming, like, Happy Thanksgiving, Arnold. And like,
Oh,
surprise. And they like whip out this table and they start loading it up with turkey and green beans and potatoes, cranberries,
all
the
the
whole
fixins.
shebang, all the fixings. And Arnold's like, well, what the heck? What happened to 4th of July? And Grandma Pookie like absolutely gaslights him. Like, what are you talking about, Arnold? And why are you dressed like
This
Ben
was her
Franklin? It's
fucking plan.
Thanksgiving. Yes.
She's always ready to fucking power move it.
She is. She's like,
Power
it's been
play.
Thanksgiving all day. We never celebrate 4th of July on
That's so
Thanksgiving. Are
weird of
you
you,
okay,
Arnold.
Arnold?
You and
Are
your
you
silly
okay?
imagination, you fourth grader.
Man, you've got to stop drinking so much soda. It's really bad for you. All that sugar, it's starting to make you feel and see things.
Hallucinate and shit. What are they teaching you in
Yeah.
school these days?
Yeah, gosh, Arnold, we gotta get that under control. And so Arnold just kind of like rolls his eyes and chuckles at his grandma as he sits down and thanks everyone and then grabs himself some turkey. And then, as they're sitting around starting to eat, he looks over to Grandma Pookie and he's like, would it be okay actually if we still set off some fireworks though?
Hell yeah.
And Pookie's like, of course, it wouldn't be Thanksgiving without fireworks. It's like she cannot
Pookie.
make up her mind on whether she like which one is it.
This is like her CIA psychological torture that she like can't ever let go of like her
Exactly.
torture methods.
She's too deep in. Yeah, she's too far deep. And
Yep.
so she straight up starts setting the fireworks off right then and there
Makes
from the
sense.
roof while they're eating,
Of
sitting at the
course,
table. And
she
then
loves
we
fire.
zoom out, we see like she loves fire, she loves destruction and loud
Yep.
noises. And so we zoom out and we see the city skyline and you see the fireworks shooting off throughout the town. And, as a last shot, we also see a crane retrieving the sunken Mayflower 2 from the bay
All of the
as a
survivors see
bunch
the
of Coast Guard
fireworks and they're flinching at the noise.
ha, ha, that sounds like a crash. And also, like, all of the authorities are too busy trying to, well, one, half of them are still out on the streets looking for these missing children that were
Right, because her
reported
mom's
earlier.
hung up.
And the other, I know, they're like, are they still missing or not? We don't know. We better go out and check. And the other half are trying to save the people from the Mayflower too. So no one has time to stop Pookie from setting off these fireworks from
And no
their
one
roof.
could.
No one could because she'll kill them anyway. The end.
The true meaning of Thanksgiving is Grandma
Grandma
Pookie.
Pookie will kill you if you try to get in the way of her 4th of July celebrations on
Of her
Thanksgiving.
4th of Thanks celebration. Her 4th giving.
Nice. Her 4th giving. Yes.
Wow, incredible job. Yes, the absolute crime in this was like people not treating children as real people, aka like giving them the time of day.
Yes, facts.
Wow.
Just straight up child neglect and abuse, at least the like
Yeah.
psychological abuse and slash also, I don't know, there might have been something going on there with Mr. Simmons. Someone in that house might have been a murderer. We don't know.
Probably Pearl.
I didn't really yeah, right. I didn't really explain the one of the characters, Chuck, I think his uncle, who just was like a glutton, like the whole time while everyone was fighting,
like
he's just like
eating.
ripping pieces of turkey off and like eating and eventually like choked and shit. Like he was probably the murderer. Oh yeah, it's a whole thing.
Yeah, for sure.
You'll see it when you watch it, but like
Yeah.
he was probably the murderer. And he also like had a like Wisconsin or like Canadian accent.
He's definitely on the
and
lam
like
right
was
now,
wearing
which
a
is why
hat and a scarf.
he's trying to eat so
at the
fast
dinner
so the cops
table.
don't come pick him up like across the like county
Yeah.
lines here. He's like, this is my last
Yeah.
meal possibly.
I gotta go. I gotta get out.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
put his hat down more and pull the scarf up so they can't see me. Yeah.
The Pearl
That was his vibe.
in this episode was the Pearl from the X horror films, like Maxine
yeah.
and like who's
Yeah.
Ty West films. She's that
Yeah.
murderous grandma.
Yeah. In the future.
Yeah.
So she ended up being she obviously wanted to murder Peter. I think,
yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, Peter. So
amazing work.
Thank
what
you.
a like
Thank
also
you.
sad episode.
Arnold's Thanksgiving.
Like
yes,
sad, happy.
Yeah, like heartstrings, pulls on the heartstrings,
yep.
you know?
Yes.
Like that kind of all of the holiday episodes of Hey Arnold are definitely like very, very sad, I'll say. Like again, contemplating whether or not I'll do Christmas because like as much as I love that episode and would love to watch it,
fucking sad.
I will 100% cry while watching it because
nope.
I don't know, man. It would be so much fun to cover though, because the historical backdrop of it is like amazing too, because the show is just so fucking real. Like it talks about the fucking Korean War and stuff.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's maybe I'll try to power through it. Okay. Come back in a few weeks to find out.
I will say I don't remember it like at all.
It's amazing.
Like, it would be I would want to hear it again.
Yeah, okay. Maybe I will. I might try to suck it up. Yeah, I might try to suck it up and do it. Because I will say, even as a teaser, if I do end up doing it, when my brothers and I were younger, we would always like put together playlists of like our favorite Halloween movies and specials. Or not Halloween, sorry, Christmas. Well, I guess we did it for like every holiday, but we really did it for Christmas. And we would just like spend like the night before Christmas just watching all these specials and like getting in the mood. And like the Hey Arnold Christmas was like always on our list, literally always. Like we would illegally record it, like pop a blank VHS in there.
Classic.
And like record that shit so we could rewatch it the night before.
Over and over.
Yeah, it's a big deal in our family. So I might have to suck it up and do it. But,
wow, but amazing work. I'm very excited to watch it and also again, be heartbroken and then uplifted. All one after the other. As again, we just said this show opts to do.
Honestly, always does. Yes. And so I believe that actually this is our last episode before Thanksgiving. So Grace, even though you're going again next week, Thanksgiving will have just passed. So glad that I was able to cover an episode that literally deals with a Thanksgiving dinner. And hopefully it reminds you guys all the true meaning of, on the 25th anniversary, no less, of the episode dropping. So
as we planned.
There's a plug for exactly. Nickelodeon / Paramount sponsor us. Just
You're
kidding.
welcome.
Not really sponsor us. You're welcome. But hopefully the episode reminded everyone what the true meaning of Thanksgiving is.
Yes.
And can help get you in the mindset. And the true meaning is to make an ice sculpture that puts
outdoes your siblings.
Arts and crafts projects of your siblings to shame. So
the true meaning is be better than your family.
You've got like 5 days.
And let them know.
And let them know. Brag about it. Brag about it when they ask you to give thanks. What are you thankful for? I'm thankful for me and how amazing I am.
Most of all, give thanks to me. Iconic.
To me. I did this on myself, like parents staring at you like, what? Like, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for me. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
Like
I'm
at
here,
your dinner,
in
not like
fact.
having me physically like birthing me, but like thanks for having me over for dinner so that you can appreciate how amazing I am.
No, yeah, you're like, no. Actually, I'm not going to give thanks this year. I'm just going to say you're welcome. That's it.
Yeah. Boom. That's the move. That is the move for Thanksgiving 2023. I
Yep,
love it.
that's the energy.
And so on that note, while y'all are giving thanks giving your welcomes for being who you are at the Thanksgiving
Yes.
table. Grace, who should they tell about this podcast?
I think you should find someone who does ice sculptures and let them know. An ice sculptor. I'm
Nice.
sure you can find them on Instagram some way or somehow or something.
Oh yeah.
Let them know. Ask if they've ever done a turkey sculpture.
Yeah.
Which also, like, I guess
and
this
then
whole
bring
time,
it to your dinner.
yeah, and
Make
say
them think
you did
that
it.
make your family think you made it. Yeah.
Also, I'm just now realizing this whole time I was picturing like a swan sculpture, like a beautiful swan, but it's a fucking turkey sculpture.
It's a turkey. It's a fucking
I
turkey,
was
like on a pilgrim
picturing a
hat.
swan.
Yeah.
It's a turkey.
Yeah.
Great. Who else should they tell?
Nowhere near as beautiful. So you should also tell, I don't think we did this last year, pilgrim reenactors.
Oh,
I don't
nice.
think we
Good.
did that. Tell them, and in their reenactments, tell them to watch where they are steering their Mayflower boat, their ship.
That's like,
or don't, and honestly watch the chaos of a massive crash happen and
what's your
enjoy
vibe
the rescue
today?
efforts. Yeah, how are you feeling?
You know what?
Chaotic evil,
then,
chaotic neutral, chaotic good. Where are you?
Because then if you're the one who calls rescue services, you're a hero. And again, you can say you're welcome.
For being
every
you.
survivor getting off that ship, be like, you're welcome. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Yeah, perfect.
Exactly.
All right. Well, we'll see y'all next week.
Next week.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in to Saturday Morning Mysteries.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share, rate, review, leave us a like, and drop a comment. We post episodes every Saturday and bonus tune tangents whenever we feel like it. So please subscribe so you don't miss the shenanigans.
And if you want to follow us on YouTube, click the bell under the YouTube subscribe button to receive notifications when new videos are posted.
And if you want to subscribe to the podcast, we have no idea what you're listening to us on, so just hit the big subscribe button on whatever app you're using. We believe in you.
Give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram at SatmornMist, all the abreves, and let us know if you have any episode or show requests by emailing SaturdayMorningMysteries@gmail.com.
Thanks to Jenna Kendall for the logo design and to Ava Sakiki for the music used during this week's episode.
See y'all groovy kids next week on Saturday Morning Mysteries.